Welcome to the channel. I'm truly glad you're here. Today, we're diving into a story that might hit close to home, especially if you've ever felt people treating you differently as you age. But before we begin, I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below, and let's see how far this community reaches. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because tomorrow we're sharing a powerful new story you won't want to miss. Now, let's get started. Why people start avoiding you after 70. The truth hurts. Reason number one, being constantly negative without realizing it. One of the quickest ways to push people away, without even meaning to, is by being overly negative in everyday conversation. And the truth is, it often happens so gradually that you don't notice it. By the time we reach our 70s, we've lived through a lot. Health struggles, financial pressures, disappointments in family or society, these are real, and your feelings are valid. But when nearly every conversation becomes a list of what's wrong with the world, it can start to wear people down. Negativity doesn't just affect you, it affects the energy of the room. If every chat with a friend turns into a rant about politics, or every visit with your kids becomes a complaint about how things used to be better, people begin to associate being around you with stress instead of comfort. Over time, they may not even realize it, but they'll start calling less, visiting less, or cutting conversations short. Not because they don't care, but because they don't want to leave the conversation feeling worse than when it started. Nobody expects you to be cheerful all the time, especially when life gets tough. But striking a balance between honesty and optimism can make a big difference. You don't have to fake happiness, but you can choose to share moments of curiosity, humor, or gratitude alongside your concerns. Even small shifts, like starting with a light story, offering a compliment, or asking someone how their day went, can transform the tone of a conversation. So what can you do instead? Pay attention to your words. If you catch yourself leading with a complaint, pause and ask yourself, is this how I want to show up in this moment? You might be surprised how powerful that awareness can be. Shifting from everything's going wrong to here's something I'm learning can completely change how others respond to you. The bottom line is this: people don't avoid you because they don't love you. They may simply want to protect their own peace. By being more mindful of how often you focus on the negative, you can reconnect with the people around you and remind them why they've always loved being near you. Reason number two, giving unwanted advice or criticism without realizing it. Following closely behind constant negativity is another behavior that can quietly push people away. Giving advice when it wasn't asked for. It often comes from a good place. After all, you've lived through decades of experience. You've seen mistakes, learned hard lessons, and built up a wealth of knowledge. Naturally, you want to help. You want to protect the people you love from going through unnecessary struggles. But here's the hard truth. Unsolicited advice often feels like judgment, not support. This can be especially true when it comes to younger family members. You might see your adult children or grandchildren making decisions that you know from experience are going to lead to trouble, whether it's about parenting, money, career choices, or lifestyle habits. But when you step in and say, you shouldn't do that, or back in my day, we did it differently, they may not hear your wisdom. Instead, they may hear criticism. They may feel like they're being corrected instead of understood. And it's not just family. This can happen with friends too. Maybe you suggest that someone start eating healthier or saving more money. While your intentions are good, the person on the other end might feel judged, not helped. Over time, if people start to associate your presence with constant corrections, they may begin to avoid deeper conversations or avoid conversations altogether. So what can you do instead? Wait to be invited in. If someone wants your advice, they'll ask for it. If they don't, it's okay to step back and let them make their own choices. A simple shift in how you offer help can make a huge difference. Instead of saying, you really should, try, would you be open to hearing something that worked for me? That small change in language shows respect and gives them the choice to listen. Here's the bottom line. People don't resist advice because they don't trust you. They resist it because they want to feel capable, not corrected. When you offer guidance in a way that respects their independence, you become a source of support instead of stress. And that's how relationships grow stronger, not strained. Reason number three, refusing to adapt to change. Right after unwanted advice, there's another habit that can quietly build walls between you and the people you care about: resisting change. It's completely understandable. You've spent a lifetime doing things a certain way. You've seen trends come and go, and you've lived through decades of traditions that now seem to be disappearing. But when every conversation becomes a defense of the past and a rejection of the present, people begin to pull away, not because they don't respect you, but because they don't feel heard. This can show up in small, everyday moments. Maybe your grandchild is excited about a new app or hairstyle, and you say, "That's silly," or "I don't get kids these days." Or perhaps someone shares a different perspective, and your response is, "Back in my day, we never would have done that." What starts as simple opinions can slowly feel like constant dismissal. And over time, younger people stop opening up, not because they don't care, but because they feel like you're not willing to meet them halfway. Technology is a big one. Texting instead of calling, using social media to make plans, even paying bills online. These may seem unnecessary or frustrating, but they're part of how the world works now. When you refuse to adapt, even just a little, it becomes harder for others to include you. They're not trying to exclude you on purpose. It's just that the gap between how you live and how they live keeps growing wider. So, what can you do instead? Stay curious. You don't have to love every new trend, but showing interest shows respect. Ask questions, try new things, and let others teach you without feeling like you have to know everything already. A simple, "That's new to me. Can you show me how it works?" can go a long way. The truth is, no one expects you to be fully up to date on every change in the world. But they do appreciate when you keep an open mind. When you stop resisting and start engaging, even just a little, you show that you're still growing, still listening, and still making space for others in your life. That effort alone can keep relationships strong, connected, and full of mutual respect. Reason number four, expecting too much without giving back. Following the resistance to change comes another subtle but powerful relationship strain: expecting too much from others without offering much in return. It's something that can happen slowly and unintentionally, especially as we get older. You may not even realize it's happening, but if you're always waiting for others to call, visit, or help without showing appreciation or making an effort to reciprocate, it can start to push people away. After all, relationships are a two-way street, and while your needs are real and valid, so are theirs. Maybe you expect your children to check in every week, your friends to always be available when you feel lonely, or your neighbors to lend a hand whenever you ask. Over time, if the balance feels one-sided, people can start to feel used, even if that was never your intention. And here's the tricky part. Many people won't tell you outright. They won't say, "I feel like I'm always giving and never receiving." Instead, they'll quietly pull back. The calls will slow down. The visits will become less frequent. You might begin to feel forgotten when in reality, they just feel emotionally drained. This doesn't mean you shouldn't ask for help. Everyone needs support sometimes, especially as life becomes more complex with age. But small efforts to give back, emotionally, socially, or simply through gratitude, can make a huge difference. People want to feel appreciated. They want to feel like their presence matters, not just their assistance. So what can you do instead? Start with the little things. A sincere thank you. A text message just to say you're thinking of someone. Asking how someone else is doing before diving into your own worries. Remember birthdays, share kind words, offer encouragement. These gestures may seem small, but they speak volumes. When people feel seen, valued, and appreciated, they're far more likely to stay close. The key is to shift from expecting to connecting. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what others do for you, it's about how you make them feel when they do it. A little generosity of spirit goes a long way in keeping relationships warm, strong, and lasting. Reason number five, living too much in the past. After expecting too much from others without giving back, another habit that can quietly create distance is living too much in the past. Memories are powerful. They remind us of who we are, where we've been, and the people we've loved. And at this stage in life, it's only natural to reflect. But when every conversation circles back to how things used to be, it can start to feel like you're stuck while everyone else is trying to move forward. This shows up in subtle ways. Maybe your stories always begin with back in my day, or you constantly compare the present to the past in a way that feels dismissive. You might mean well. You're simply sharing what shaped you. But others, especially younger people, may start to feel like their experiences don't matter as much, or that they're being judged for not living up to the way things were. Over time, those around you might stop sharing new ideas or talking about their lives because they don't feel heard. They feel overshadowed. Even your peers, your lifelong friends, can grow tired of hearing the same stories repeated without any new ones being made. Conversations begin to feel predictable, repetitive. And while comfort can be found in familiarity, connection is built in the present. So, what can you do instead? Balance reflection with curiosity. Share your stories, yes, but ask others about theirs too. Show interest in what's happening in their world right now. When you catch yourself telling a story you've shared many times, ask yourself, is this helping us connect or just filling the space? And most importantly, look for new experiences to create. Life isn't over. Your best moments might still be ahead. You see, people want to feel connected to who you are now, not just who you were. Your past is part of your story, but it shouldn't be the whole conversation. When you focus on both the memories you carry and the moments you're still making, you show others that you're still growing, still engaged, and still present. Because relationships don't thrive in nostalgia, they grow in shared, current experiences. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for being here and taking the time to reflect on these important truths. Getting older doesn't mean becoming less connected. But sometimes, without realizing it, our habits can quietly create distance between us and the people we care about. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these behaviors in yourself or others? Which of the six stood out to you the most? Your experience could truly help someone else going through the same thing. So don't be shy. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Are you working on being more positive, listening more, and advising less? Adapting to changes around you? Also, let us know where in the world you're watching from. It's always amazing to see how far this community reaches. And if you haven't already, I'd encourage you to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because tomorrow, we'll be sharing another heartfelt story that could help you stay more connected, more understood, and more fulfilled. Your voice matters here, and by sharing, you're helping create a space where we all grow together. I can't wait to read what you have to say.